If you're fascinated by psychology, human behavior, and the hidden workings of the mind, make sure to subscribe, like this explainer, and share it with someone who would enjoy it. Now, let's uncover why your brain keeps delaying the things that matter most.
Okay, picture this sequence. I think we've all been here. It's 5 p.m. and that massive report you've been putting off is due tomorrow. You sit down, open your laptop to finally get to work, and you check your phone. By 6:30, you've convinced yourself that you really need to make dinner first. But you're not even enjoying it, right? The food is tasteless because it's completely overshadowed by this dark cloud of work hanging over your head. By 8 p.m., you just throw your hands up and surrender. You tell yourself, I'll just try again tomorrow. This right here is the dark, cyclical trap of procrastination.
Let's actually diagnose what's happening in those moments. And just to be clear, simply putting something off isn't always procrastinating. Sometimes you're just practicing responsible time management and prioritizing. But true procrastination, that's something entirely different. It is avoiding a task we specifically committed to for absolutely no good reason, despite knowing full well it's going to bring negative consequences. You are actively choosing to sabotage your future self. Which brings us to, honestly, a pretty wild evolutionary mystery. Why on earth does a highly evolved human brain choose to self-sabotage? Well, the answer really isn't a lack of discipline. It's much deeper and much more biological than you might think. Section 1. Your brain under threat. The biological hijack. Right beneath the surface, there is this hidden, intense neurological battle taking place in your head. When you realize you need to sit down and write that stressful report, your brain responds exactly the same way it would to a physical threat. Your amygdala, which is your brain's ancient alarm system for threat identification, immediately releases a wave of adrenaline. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, the highly logical center responsible for long-term planning, is desperately trying to maintain control. But in this state of panic, the amygdala initiates a literal biological hijack, completely overpowering your logic. Suddenly, your body drops into a primal state of fight, flight, or freeze. And your brain decides that the absolute best way to survive the quote-unquote threat of this stressful task is to simply flee from it. See, our neurology actually struggles to distinguish between psychological dread and a physical predator in the room. So we run. We run from the tasks that trigger our deepest insecurities and our fears of incompetence. And studies of procrastinating university students reveal this fascinating psychological illusion. The perceived difficulty of a task actually increases exponentially the longer you put it off. Throughout the day, procrastinating students consistently rated the mere idea of studying as intensely stressful. Yet once they finally forced themselves to start, most reported it wasn't nearly as bad as they feared. The dread is a ghost. It's almost entirely manufactured by the avoidance itself.
Section 2. The emotion trap. Who is most vulnerable?
Because procrastination is fundamentally driven by negative emotions, some individuals are inherently more susceptible to it. And this is a crucial realization. Procrastination is an emotional issue, not a scheduling one. People who struggle with emotional regulation or have low self-esteem are prime targets. You know, you could have the most beautifully organized, color-coded calendar in the world, but if a task triggers feelings of inadequacy, your amygdala will still hijack your intentions every single time. There is a pervasive myth out there that all procrastinators are simply lazy. But actually, scratch that. True laziness is marked by apathy and a lack of energy. You're perfectly content doing nothing. Procrastination, on the other hand, is a state of high anxiety where you actively distract yourself. Why? Because a lot of people procrastinate out of perfectionism. They're paralyzed by a terrifying fear of failure. They're putting things off because they actually care way too much, terrified their work won't meet their own impossible standards.
Section 3. The hidden cost. The price of avoidance.
The fallout of this cycle goes far, far beyond just a missed deadline. It creates this chronic, heavy burden on both your mental and physical health. Frequent procrastinators carry around an ongoing, heavy weight of shame. They are highly susceptible to anxiety and depression, and they endure constantly elevated stress levels that inevitably manifest as physical illness. It really is a slow, agonizing drain on your overall well-being.
And right here lies the absolute cruelest irony of human neurochemistry. While procrastination is destroying our long-term health, it provides this powerful, immediate wave of relief in the short term. The second you finally decide to put the task off until tomorrow, your stress levels plummet. This chemical relief is incredibly dangerous. It's literally training your brain that avoidance equals safety, permanently wiring the habit deeper and deeper into your subconscious.
Section 4. Breaking the cycle. Rewiring the response.
Traditionally, society just demanded that procrastinators cultivate more discipline, hustle harder, right? But modern neuroscience reveals the exact opposite is required. To short-circuit this stress response, we actually have to neutralize the negative emotions. So, first, shatter a massive task into small, non-threatening microsteps. Second, journal your anxieties to confront that underlying emotional dread directly. Third, aggressively remove physical distractions. Put the phone in another room to eliminate those easy escape routes.
But the absolute most vital tool in your psychological arsenal is highly counterintuitive. Beating yourself up and punishing yourself for failing only layers more negative emotion onto the task, which just guarantees the amygdala is going to fight even harder next time. The true antidote here is self-compassion. Forgiving yourself for delaying, analyzing the failure without judgment, and calmly planning for tomorrow. That is the only proven way to genuinely rewire this biological reflex.
A culture that relies on harsh discipline and constant stress only perpetuates this cycle, and it hurts all of us in the long run. So the question remains, will you continue to fight a losing battle against your own threatened mind, or will you finally show it the compassion it actually needs to safely move forward? If you enjoyed this explainer and learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this explainer. Your support helps us create more fascinating psychology content every week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next explainer.